Welcome everyone. Um, Today we are so excited for a um, powerful conversation with Darren Mann, who is a um, certified coach from John C. Maxwell Leadership Program. We have the honor to welcome Darren Mann to this amazing conversation. Darren, you can introduce yourself to the audience and dive in into your subject today. Welcome everyone, and we have Darren with us.
All right. Thank you so much, Bella. Sir, I'm going to share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. Just let me do that. Hopefully you can see my screen there. Can everyone hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Just looking in the chat there. Looks like I saw one thumbs up. Yes, can you hear me? Thank you, Roberto. Gaetano, you can hear as well. All right. Okay. So we have two that can hear, so we can go ahead and get started. And you can see the screen as well. Is that right? Yeah, it looks like you can see the screen. Okay. All right. Well, let me just go here. Okay. Well, thank you, Belisar, for this opportunity to speak today. I greatly do appreciate it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're calling from, everyone. Welcome to Rise Above Routine, Embracing Life Beyond Your Comfort Zone. Today, I want to challenge you to rethink what's possible for your life, or even your business or your ministry, whatever purpose you came for. I want you to think about how you can rethink what you're doing and how you can have a greater impact. So, we're going to explore how stepping out of your comfort zone can produce remarkable growth and results. And I'm going to share with you some practical steps to help you embrace the extraordinary by rising above routine. All right, let's get started. So, we're talking about comfort zones today. So, what is a comfort zone? What is a comfort zone? A comfort zone is a state of predictability and low risk. It's familiar and safe, but it limits our growth. It is natural for our brains to seek comfort, but this is where growth stagnates. When you look at a caterpillar stays safe in its cocoon, but it must break free to become a butterfly. It can't stay in its cocoon its entire life. It's safe in its cocoon, but it doesn't become what it was purposed to be. So it's purposed to be a butterfly, not a caterpillar its whole life. Now, as Neil Donald Walsh says, he says that growth begins at the end of your comfort zone. Growth begins at the end of your comfort zone. But stepping out of the comfort zone often stirs up some emotions like fear, anxiety, doubt, and overwhelm. But remember, every great innovator, every great leader, every great achiever has faced these same emotions. I want to see in the chat, I want you to be interactive. Who are the innovators, the leaders, the achievers, those that want to make a difference in this world? Give me a thumbs up in the chat or say yes in the chat. Who are those people that want to do these things? So growth will require you to move forward despite these limitations. It's going to require you to move forward despite these limitations or these emotions, I should say. Okay, so let's take a look at what these emotions are. When we step out of our comfort zones, it's normal to experience these emotions. The first one is fear. Now, fear, it often stems from worrying about failure or rejection. And then we have anxiety. Anxiety is an unease with the unknown. So you're not sure what's going to happen when you step out of that comfort zone. And then we look at doubt. Now, doubt is questioning our abilities. Can I do this? Am I capable of doing whatever it is that I'm seeking to do? And then lastly, overwhelm. Overwhelm can leave you feeling overloaded, feeling stuck, and not able to move forward. So we have fear, anxiety, doubt, overwhelm. If you want to grow and develop, you have to get used to feeling these emotions. You're going to experience these emotions, and you have to get used to it. For example, when I considered a career change, I was paralyzed by fear and doubt. What if I failed? What if it doesn't work out? I questioned even my abilities. But every time, I want you to hear this, every time I push through these emotions, I've experienced growth that was worth the discomfort. Every time you get on the other side of that discomfort, there is a level of growth that you're going to get into. So here, who here wants to grow and develop? Say in the chat, growth, if you want to grow. If you want to develop, say in the chat, develop. If you want to change, say in the chat, change. I'm just going to take a look at the chat. We have a different platform today, so I'm going to take a look over there and see what the folks are saying. Now, this is behind, it's a screen behind a screen, so I'm trying to get there. There we are. There we are. We said, Roberto says growth, develop. Good, good. So we have some folks that want to grow and develop. Okay, let me get back to my other screen here. All right. Remember, these are emotions. Now, I want to share this with you. These emotions are not roadblocks. They are signs that you are on the right path. These emotions that you're experiencing, they're not roadblocks. They are signs that you are on the right path. Let me give you an example. I know that some of you live in the United States, so I'm going to use, and some may live in different countries, but I'm going to use these landmarks to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So if you are driving from New York to Florida, New York is northeast and Florida is, northeast, and Florida is southeast. So let's say you're driving, you're going from New York to Florida, and you get about halfway there and you start seeing these signs. And the signs say, Florida, 400 miles, Florida, 350 miles, Florida, 200 miles. And you start seeing these signs along the way. So these emotions, when you step out of your comfort zone, are going to show up. These emotions like fear, anxiety, doubt, overwhelm, they're going to show up. So it doesn't mean that something is wrong. It means that you are pushing outside of your comfort zones. Okay? There's signs that you are on the right path. There's signs that you're on the right path. So in the chat, I want to make this as interactive as I can. Which of these emotions, fear, anxiety, doubt, or overwhelm, do you most relate to when you step out of your comfort zone? Which of these emotions do you most relate to when you're stepping out of your comfort zone? I want to see that in the chat. I'm going to go back over here and see if anyone is interacting in the chat here. Which of these emotions do you experience? Roberto says fear. Thank you, Roberto. All right. Okay. Yeah. Fear is one of the most debilitating emotions, and we all tend to experience that in some form or another. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move on. The next thing I want to talk about is the 3 keys. The 3 keys to breaking free from your comfort zone. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is embracing failure as a learning opportunity. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to go through this in a second here. The second key is being consistent. Small, steady efforts compound over time. We're going to talk about that one. And the third one we're going to look at is asking for what you want, having the courage to ask for what you want. Now, these principles, they are simple but powerful. And if they're applied, they can be life-changing. So let's dive into the first one today, and that's embracing failure. Embracing failure. Failure is a stepping stone to success. It is a stepping stone. Now, we cannot go around failure. We must go through it. We cannot go under it. We must go through failure, and that is going to take us to the other side of success. Let me share a story with you to illustrate what I mean. I visualized for months to land a senior project management position. And I got the position and I thought, yes, I've arrived. I felt good. But I realized early into the role that my values didn't align with my new boss's values. And I wasn't quite ready for that role yet. After 5 months, I was let go. They fired me. After that failure, I wanted to give up on project management. But after another 5 months, I found a new senior project management role. And my next role was a better fit, and I was a great success. It was a painful experience, but it taught me how to be resilient. It taught me how to be resilient. Success is to be measured not so much by the position one has reached in life, but by the obstacles he has overcome while trying to succeed. Booker T. Washington. I want to share another quote with you. Failure becomes less scary the more you prove to yourself that you can recover from it. Kira Lynn. Now, I want you to understand this. This is something that I really want you to understand. The cost of success is failure. There is a price. You want to get to the other side of success. Anything that you want to succeed at, you're going to fail at first. It's just part of the journey. It's part of success. It's not separate from it. It is a part of it. That's why I say that failure is a stepping stone to success. Now, there is something called the law of averages. The law of averages says this. It says the more times you try something, the more times you take action, the better chance you have to succeed. I'll say that again. The more times you try, the better chance you have to succeed at a thing. What happens though is we'll try it 1 or 2 times and say, oh, this doesn't work. But you have to be willing to try something multiple times. I'm speaking to those leaders that are in the room. I'm speaking to those entrepreneurs, those coaches. I can guarantee you this, if you don't take action, you won't be able to grow your business. You won't be able to grow your ministry. Whatever it is you're trying to grow, you won't be able to grow as a person if you're not willing to take action. The faster that you're willing to fail, the faster you're going to be able to succeed. I like what Brian Tracy says. He says this, the more self-confidence you have, the more things you will try. And by the law of averages, the more things you are likely to achieve. The more self-confidence you have, the less you will be affected by temporary setbacks and disappointments. The more self-confidence you have, the more likely it is that you will have a long, exciting life full of riches, rewards, and self-satisfaction. That was Brian Tracy. So embrace failure. Don't run from it. Embrace it. John Maxwell says, make failure your friend. And the sooner that you embrace it, the better chance you have to succeed. Remember that failure becomes less scary the more you prove to yourself that you can recover from it. In the chat, I want you to share one failure that taught you a valuable lesson. What is a failure that taught you a valuable lesson? Share that in the chat with me, please. I want to see that. A failure that you learned from. Something that taught you a lesson. I shared one with you, and I'm willing to share another, but I'm going to share another one here as I present. Okay. I guess everyone in the chat is perfect, or on the call is perfect. So no one has failed except for me, I guess. Okay, someone's typing now. I'll give you a chance. Yeah, failure is not easy, but if you can learn to embrace it and not be afraid of it, it'll be transformational for you. Most people, when they fail, they don't want to look at the failure. They don't want to examine it. Why did I fail? Why did I go through this? How can I improve for next time? You just want to get away from that failure as quick as possible. But failure is a stepping stone to success. All right. I'll come back to okay, there we go. Not doing well in a competition, later learning to compete against myself by preparing better. That's great. Thank you, Roberto. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Yeah. So we're what Roberto's saying, I believe you're saying, Roberto, is that we should um, be looking at ourselves and trying to better ourselves when we compete. Yeah. Hmm. That's good. That's good. All right. So I'm going to move on. Thank you for Roberto for sharing. And we're going to look at a few examples. Now, I like sports and I like to show examples through sports. I have a few that I'm going to show here today. Now, this particular video is just, I don't know who the baseball player is, but he's striking out. He's trying to hit the ball and he's striking out. I want to show you that even the best fail. Ty Cobb is one of the best, or one of the greatest hitters of all time. He's one of the greatest hitters of all time, and he failed. So what I want you to do in the chat, and I want everyone to engage here, tell me what you think his career batting average was. Take a guess in the chat and do it by percentage. Was it 20%? Was it 50%? Was it 70%? What do you think his career batting average was? Anyone have any thoughts, any guesses? What do you think Ty Cobb's career batting average was? $45%. And don't cheat by going online. Just what do you think Ty Cobb's career batting average was? 45%. Okay. Okay. All right. So Ty Cobb's career batting average was 36%. That means that he failed 64% of the time. Out of 100 bats that Ty took, he failed 64 times. So what that means is he either struck out, he hit the ball but didn't get on base. Those are not great odds. Those are not great odds. But what I've learned about baseball players is that they are very resilient. They strike out a lot, but they don't give up because they struck out. I want to share another story with you about a failed presentation. I approached a colleague of mine. Her name was Lisa. And I said, Lisa, it'd be great to do a presentation together and we can present at this conference. And it was about 100 people that we'd be presenting to. So Lisa and I started to practice. And my boss said, why don't you guys do a practice session for myself and your other colleagues? And he said, sure. So I got up and it was my turn to speak. I was nervous during the presentation. I stumbled over my words. I had cotton mouth. Fear took over and I couldn't say my words clearly, and it affected my ability to present. My boss decided that I wasn't ready. I still attended the conference to support Lisa, and watching Lisa present was difficult because I knew that I was supposed to be up there. Again, this is earlier in my career. I considered quitting, but I chose to keep trying. Persistence helped me to improve my presentation skills, and I learned that growth requires a willingness to fail. Failure became a stepping stone to success. Facing challenges builds resilience and future opportunities. Failure, again, is the price you pay for success. It is the price you pay for success. Tell someone in the chat, failure is the price you pay for success. Okay. All right, I'm going to share another example. This is a basketball example. Like I said, I like sports, and so I'm going to share this basketball example. So Steph Curry, he misses over half of his three-point shots, yet he is one of the best three-point shooters in basketball history. Again, in the chat, what do you think Steph Curry's career three-point shooting percentage average is? In the chat, is it 20%, 40%, 50%? What do you think his career three-point shooting percentage average is? Dinesh says not says 98%. Roberto says 41%. Okay. All right. Anyone else want to give it a try? Someone else is typing there. 42%. Gaetano. Gaetano, did you cheat? Yeah, that's pretty close. It's actually roughly about 43%. His career three-point shooting percentage average is 43%, which means out of 100 shots that he takes, he misses 57 shots. I'm stating this to show that the best fail, but they keep shooting or they keep going up to bat. You're not going to make every shot that you take, but the more you try, based on the law of averages, the better chances you have to succeed. The lesson is, the more times that you try, the more times you say, I'm going to try this thing, the better you're going to get at it and the better chance you have to succeed. Remember, failure is the price you pay for success. So embrace failure because you won't succeed if you don't. In the chat, say, failure is the price you pay for success. All right. Okay. Thank you, Gaetano. You didn't cheat, but that was pretty close. That was a really good guess. Yeah, I think you got the closest on that one. Yes, failure is the price you pay for success. Thank you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for engaging. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's go on to the next key. The next key is consistency. This is the second key, consistency. Now, consistency is the key to lasting change. Small, consistent actions create lasting change. Doing something consistent over a long period of time is not easy. Consistency is boring. It's usually done when no one else is watching. It's easy to give up and say, this isn't working. But those who are successful remain consistent over a long period of time. I want to share my weight loss journey with you. I started a new job and I was traveling on a weekly basis. I was enjoying lavish meals. I had bacon, eggs, potatoes, pancakes for breakfast. For lunch, I had sandwiches and fries. And for dinner, I had steak and potatoes. In 6 months, I had gained 40 pounds. And I realized that I needed a change. So I was actually going to a conference, and I remember praying. And I remember God saying that you need to do it gradually. If you want to lose this weight, do it gradually. So I just started walking 10 minutes a day. That's all I did. I did that for about 3 months. Then gradually I increased to 20 minutes a day. Over time, I added drinking more water in smaller portions. After about 8 months, I had lost 50 pounds. This change didn't happen overnight. It was the result of consistent effort over time. Now, I didn't miss a day. I was doing it every day. I was doing something, and then I was adding something new every so often, about every 3 months or so. Sometimes it was less than that. See, we can do a lot when we're consistent. It's hard to create lasting change in a day. Attending this event is not going to have you change. It's what you do with the information that is going to cause you to change. Consistent effort over time makes a big impact. You can see it in any area of life. You can see it in finances. You can see it in your personal growth. You can see it if you read every day for 10 minutes. Whatever it is, if you do it consistently over time, that's where growth happens. That's where you're going to grow. So in the chat, share one habit that you've stuck with that has made a positive impact in your life. One habit that you've stuck with that has A positive habit. It is habit stacking. I didn't even know anything about that. That was before that book was written, Gaetano. But yes, reading is one. Roberto said. What else? What are some others have to say? What's some things that you've done to um, create a positive habit in your life, and or what are those positive habits? I should say. Yeah, good stuff. I think some folks are on their phones, so it's hard to type everything up. Yeah, good stuff. Volunteering. Thank you, Roberto. Exercise 5 to 6 times a day. Lost 5.5 inches around waist. That's great. That's great. Yeah. So you can see these daily habits can bring lasting change. I've been reading. Here's another habit I have, and I'll post this one in the chat too. For me, I've been reading. Um, I would say probably for the last daily for the last probably 20 years. And I believe I'm at where I'm at today because of that, because I've read, because I've studied, because I've chose to grow myself. Gaetano says a week, not a day. Okay. All right. Daily habits do change us. They do. Okay, so let me go back and let's talk about some more of this consistency. It is powerful. Consistency is a game changer. If you can get consistent in anything you do, it'll be a game changer for you. So here we go. I'm going to give you a golf example this time. I want to show you a golf example. And this example will show you how consistency compounds over time. So let's take a look at this golf example. Now, this graph won't make much sense, but let me share something with you and then we'll get back to the graph. So when you remain consistent, even when you don't see visible evidence, that's where change happens. So imagine this. There's a friendly game of golf between John and Mike, and they are seasoned friends, avid golf enthusiasts. They decided to add a little excitement to their game by placing a wager. They started out at just 10 cents and they doubled the bet after each hole. What started as a casual bet soon turned into a remarkable lesson on the compounding power of consistency. As the game progressed, Mike displayed unwavering consistency, winning hole after hole. It wasn't until he had won consistently for 12 holes that John began to notice a significant difference in the stakes. With each victory, the stakes doubled from 10 cents, then it went up to 30 cents because you have to add that 10 cents, and then it went to 70 and so on and so forth. By the time they reached the 18th hole, can you believe it? They were at $26,000. So he had won $26,000 from doubling it starting at 10 cents per hole. Now, this shows you the compounding effect of consistency. Now, a lot of people would think, well, when I looked at this, I thought, I thought that you might get up to $500 or something, but I never thought it would get to $26,000. Now, it took them about 12 holes to really see any significant difference, because you can see in the beginning, it's only a few dollars, $100. That's not much. But, when you get to 26,000, that's pretty significant. Pretty significant. So that is how consistency works. If you invest, let's just say $50 a month, starting when you're 20 years old, by the time you get to 60, you will be a millionaire if you just put that in the bank consistently every month. So consistency is the key. It's one of those keys that not a lot of people tap into because it's, like I said, it can be boring. All right, so let's take a look at a tool that I want to give you, a strategy that I want to give you to help you be consistent. So I call this the I Can principle. This is called the I Can principle. It's a daily habit for growth. I learned this from a good friend and fellow coach of mine. His name is Gary White, and it is called the I Can principle. And it's designed to help leaders, entrepreneurs, coaches, parents to grow your business or grow your influence one step at a time. So instead of saying I can't, you need to start saying I can. I want to hear that in the chat. Say I can in the chat. Say I can in the chat. I want to see that. I want to see you saying that. I can in the chat. I can. Thank you, Roberto. Yes, I can, Dinesh. Thank you. Thank you. I can. I can make a difference. I can. So this I can principle, let me break it down for you. Let me show you what this means. Here's how it works. The first letter is, this is an acronym. I can is an acronym. And the first letter stands for inspire. Inspire. So you're going to start by inspiring yourself. You know, you cannot lead others until you first lead yourself. The first person you must lead is you. Okay. Now, you're going to ask this question: what transformation do I want to create? What transformation do I want to create? What's the vision that you're looking to create? What are you looking to change? What area? Maybe you want to change a country. What is it? What is it that you want to do? What type of transformation do you want to create? Maybe it's just you want to lose 50 pounds. Maybe you want to have a better marriage. I don't know what it is, but the first thing you must do is you must identify the thing that you want to transform. You see, vision, it pulls us forward. When we imagine, when we visualize it clearly, when we get clear about the vision that we're trying to achieve, it will pull us forward. So the first thing you want to do is be inspired. Inspire yourself. What transformation do I want to create? Now, one of the things that I've realized is you cannot accomplish a vision on your own. So the next thing you want to do is you want to contact. So this next letter is C, and it stands for contact. And so what this is you reach out to someone on a daily basis. Maybe it's a potential client, a colleague, someone in your network, someone that's going to help you grow your business, or someone you can offer your business to. Now, one intentional connection a day creates unstoppable momentum. So that's the C. Now, not everyone that you contact is going to get back to you right away. So always follow up. Who do I need to follow up with today? This is where most people drop the ball. Who do I need to follow up with today? If you're trying to grow a business, the fortune is truly in the follow-up. Following up builds trust, it shows care, and it keeps the doors open. It keeps the doors open. The last letter is the letter N, and the letter N stands for never pass up. It stands for never pass up an opportunity. Be ready to say yes, whether it's offering value, attending an event, replying to an inquiry. Growth doesn't always happen or doesn't come scheduled. Be present and be ready. So what's an opportunity that I can explore today? Opportunities are all around you. You just have to be willing to look for them. So let me give you a real life application of this and how it works. A few months ago, I decided to expand my network. So I started to join some leadership groups on Facebook. As Belisar mentioned, I'm a leadership coach, John Maxwell coach. And so I started to reach out to I started to connect to some leadership groups. And I noticed a young man that was posting in one of the groups. He was posting a lot on John Maxwell materials. And I said to myself, I got to get to know this individual. So I sent a message to the individual and connected on common ground. I mentioned to him that I'm a John Maxwell certified coach, and we set up a time to talk. He asked me if I'd like to speak to his group. I said yes. I didn't hear from him for about 3 to 4 weeks, so I followed up with him to see if he was still interested. He said yes. A few more emails were exchanged, and that's how I ended up here today. The person I connected with was Belisar, and he's the host of this event. Here's the key: persistence, follow up, showing up when others won't. That's what's going to create the lasting change that you want to see. I want to challenge you to stop saying I can't and start saying I can. So when you live this I can principle, you're going to build stronger relationships. You're going to stay on the top of mind of people. You're going to grow your business or your network or your relationships day by day and step by step. So in the chat, say, I can. Say, I can. Now, this is a framework. I know some of you probably taken a picture of this, but this is something you can use. And I'm telling you, this is life changing. It is transformational. Say, I can in the chat. Let me take a look here. Thank you. Thank you, Gaetano. Thank you. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Okay, we got one more principle, or one more key, I should say, to look at. And that is asking for what you want. You know, one of the things that I've come to realize in my limited time on earth is that you rarely get what you want if you don't ask for it. You have to ask for what you want. I'll tell you a quick story here. I almost talked myself out of an opportunity. I wanted to ask a VP of a company that I worked at if he needed some coaching. So I reached out to his executive assistant and scheduled a meeting. The problem was the meeting was 2 weeks away. And for 2 weeks, I thought about canceling the meeting. What if he says no? What if he thinks it's a stupid idea? What if my boss finds out? I had all of these questions and those things that we talked about, those emotions, they started to come up. The fear, the doubt, the overwhelm, the anxiety, all of those emotions came up. At this time, I remembered this quote by Napoleon Hill, and it says this. It says, people who succeed make decisions quickly and change them, if at all, very slowly. So I decided, okay, I'm going to keep my promise to myself. And I waited for 2 weeks, that 2 weeks to be up, went to the meeting, and I asked if he'd be willing to have coaching. To my surprise, he said, thank you for coming to me. Our middle level managers need some coaching. Can you speak at our next meeting? If I had canceled that meeting, I would have missed that opportunity. And what happened from that, the coaching engagement, one of the employees that worked for him was about to quit. They were on the verge of quitting. That employee now has gotten a promotion. That happened because I made a commitment and I stuck to it. Asking for what you want. It's not always easy. This is the simplest one, but probably the hardest to practice. Now, as Oprah Winfrey, she says this. She says, what we get in life is what we have the courage to ask for. So don't let fear hold you back. Have the courage to ask for what you want. The worst one someone can say is no, but the best they could say is yes, and that could be life-changing. So ask for what you want. Don't answer the question for them. Ask for what you want. This is what we do. We say, oh, they'll never want this. They'll never want to do this. And we answer the question for them. Ask the question. Let them say no. You don't say no. You let them say no. And to your surprise, you're going to get more yeses than you've been getting in the past. So ask. Ask. I want you to think about this. And if you're bold enough, put it in the chat. Think of one thing you've been hesitant to ask for, and what are you going to do to change that? One thing you've been hesitant to ask for, and what are you going to do to change that? Asking for what you want. Anyone willing to share that? Okay. Yeah, it's a difficult ask, but think about that. If you're not willing to put it in a chat, I really want you to think about, what's one thing that I've been hesitant to ask for, and how can I change that? What's that one thing that's holding you back, that's preventing your growth, your development. Ask for what you want. All right, so I'm going to wrap up at this point. So, in conclusion, I want you to remember these key points. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. You will not grow if you remain comfortable. You will not grow if you remain comfortable. Failure is a stepping stone to success. Embrace it. Learn to embrace failure. This takes time. I'm not saying that you're going to get it overnight, but learn to not be afraid to fail. Once you get that, once you understand that and start walking in that, it'll be life-changing for you. Consistency, it compounds. Small daily actions lead to significant change. So put the I can principle into practice. And lastly, have the courage to ask for what you want. Have the courage to ask for what you want. Opportunities often come from simply asking. Take steps today to rise above your routine. I encourage, when I do these talks, and I do a lot of them, I encourage folks to take action on what you learned. I want you to take a small step to start moving towards growth and change. You see, one of the things that I've come to realize is that when we continuously learn, it makes us more knowledgeable, but it doesn't change us. It keeps us stuck. Learning and learning and learning does not change us. It does not grow us. We have to take action to grow or succeed. Now, if you don't take action, what you learn today will just be information. But information that is applied leads to transformation. We don't want to be like the caterpillar in the cocoon. We want to become butterflies. That's transformational. That's metamorphosis. That's change. So in the chat, I want you to share one thing that you learned today that you're going to apply. Now, we've learned 3 key principles. We talked about the comfort zone. You have them there on the screen. What is one thing that you're going to apply today? What is one thing that you're going to apply? Okay, thank you for sharing, Roberto. This is the last question. Opportunity to present my idea to clientele. Great. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, if you get that opportunity, be ready for it. I'm not sure what ask I haven't asked yet. I feel like restraint is my challenge. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Dinesh. Thank you. Thank you. So what is one thing this is my last question I want to ask you folks is what is that one thing that you're going to apply from what you learned? Just one thing. Take a step. No one's going to beat you up here. You're in a safe place. What is one thing that you're going to apply? Embracing failure. Thank you. Yes. Not an easy one, Dinesh, but it's definitely something that you want to learn to embrace instead of wallowing in it. That's right. That's right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Come on, let's get outside of those comfort zones and share one thing that you're going to apply from what you learned today. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to move on then and share a few more things with you, and then we're going to go into a question and answer time. Okay. So, do you feel like you're stuck on autopilot? I want to help you to find a better way to live. I'm going to take you back to about 20 years ago. I was sitting on my couch watching 6 hours of TV every day. I would get home from work. I'd watch about 3 hours, have dinner, watch another 3 hours. And that was my routine. I was stuck on autopilot. I was stuck in a routine. I was stuck in a habit. So I decided that I'm going to give my TV away. And I started to read. And I started to study and I started to learn personal growth and I started to read the Bible more and I started to just put myself in a position to grow. So I want you to do the same thing. I want you to take the next step. I've written a book, same title, Rise Above Routine, Embracing Life Beyond Your Comfort Zone. And I want you to have that book. And that'll be your next step towards growth. Now, some practical tools, there's going to be some practical tools to help you break free from that daily routine that you might find yourself stuck in. It's going to give you mindset shifts that spark clarity and confidence. There'll be real life stories to inspire purposeful change in this book. And it's designed for busy professionals, overwhelmed parents, business owners, leaders, anyone who finds themselves stuck in a routine. I want you to stop surviving and start thriving. Start living with intention. Break free from the status quo today. Discover how to live with purpose and not pressure. This is more than a book. It's a transformational invitation. So you can scan the QR code there to get a copy of the book, Rise Above Routine, Embracing Life Beyond Your Comfort Zone. Same content that we talked about, but you're going to be able to read it. You're going to be able to look at it a little bit deeper. So you can get your copy by scanning the QR code. There's actually a bit.ly link there as well. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. And then I have one more thing to show you. If you're finished scanning, just say ready in the chat so I know I can move on. Okay, Roberto's good. Anyone else? All right, I'm going to assume that everyone is good to go. Okay, I'm going to give you a bonus here. These are some next steps, and this is a bonus. What I'm doing is I am starting a Rise Above Routine cohort number 1. So why would you want to join this cohort? I want you to stop coasting. In the cohort, you're going to get accountability. A book can't necessarily give you accountability, and it's going to allow you to stop coasting. You're going to learn how to shift your mindset that unlocks your confidence and courage. And you grow when you have others around you. So you're going to have a supportive, like-minded community around you, and you'll get live coaching and practical, personalized feedback. You'll be able to access exclusive tools and bonus content and be a part of a transformational first-time experience. And you're going to actually be able to help shape the future of this powerful program. So let's connect, let's grow, let's rise together. In order to join this you get early access, exclusive training. There's limited spots, so scan the QR code. And I'm not asking for any money on this one at this point. Just I want you to get on the list so that you can get early access to it. And I'll be reaching out within a couple of weeks to give you the schedule of when that cohort is going to start. Like I said, I found that you grow in community. I did a lot of reading before I became a John Maxwell coach. I read all of his books, but once I got around other coaches that held me accountable, oh man, my growth went up to another level. So that's what I want to offer to you. Okay. All right. Great. So I think everyone has that. If not, you can say wait in the chat, but if you're good to go, then I'm going to move on. Someone is typing. All right. This is great. Fantastic. Okay. You're welcome, Roberto. So I am going to go to our question and answers, and I will hand it back to Belisar, and you can ask any questions that you want to ask Belisar, but that's all I have that at this point. You're welcome. There it
Okay,
is.
thank you so much, Darren.
You're welcome.
This session was very insightful, and I've learned many good stuff to apply in my life as a coach, as a leadership worker. So now
Mhm.
we are going to dive in and questions from the chat. If you have some questions for Darren, you can put them on the chat, and then we can have him reply. Okay, so um, put your questions in the chat now, and Darren gonna go deeper to answer. So I have a couple questions about the subject. Why is above routine embrace life beyond your comfort zone? So I can wait after your question, so I can go with mine. So
Okay.
if you have questions, please put them on the chat. It seems no one have question. Anyone? Okay. There's a question. How do you best deal with people who lack character and willing choose to live a less than virtuous life?
Great question. It depends on the context. Like if it's um, if it's a coworker, I think you have to sort of deal with it. But if let's say it's a close friend, if it's a close friend, and you're going in a different direction than that person, then sometimes if you're growing and that person is not, then you have to step away. So okay, Dinesh says I am in the public sector. So it's someone you work with. I'm thinking, is that right? Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, that's a hard one. One of the things that I've seen done is you learn to lead up those leaders and try to influence up. And sometimes you have to walk away from those particular environments. Um, yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just have to. There's a quote that we say in the John Maxwell team, and that is, um, what is it? Oh boy, it's gone out of my mind. Uh, it'll come back to me. Yeah, yeah. Oh boy, what is the quote? It'll come back to me. It's not there. Yeah. Mm, man, that quote is not coming to me right now. So Dinesh is saying some more things here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So um, yeah, that's the quote. It's come back to me now. You have to go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. A lot of times we stay in places, in environments where we're tolerated, not celebrated. And, sometimes you have to leave an organization because you're no longer able to grow in that organization. So you have to get out of that organization and go somewhere where they're going to support your growth and development. Yeah. I work in the public sector serving community. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to, or build that organization. Yeah. And sometimes you have bad leadership, right? So that would be my recommendation: is find somewhere that you can really utilize your gifts and see the change that you want to see. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Belisar, you want to ask any questions?
Okay, I'm going to ask about three questions.
Okay.
The first is in your book you say you won't receive what you don't ask for. Why do so many people struggle with simply asking, and how can they start today?
Sorry, can you ask the question one more time? I didn't quite hear the
Okay,
whole thing.
yeah, okay. In your book, you say you won't receive what you don't ask for.
Mhm.
Why do so many people struggle with simply asking, and how can they start today?
Oh, great question. Great question, Belisar. Many of us struggle with asking because we're afraid of rejection. We think,
Okay.
what if they say no? What if I'm not good enough? But the truth is, not asking is already a no. As I mentioned before in the presentation, I nearly missed that major opportunity to coach the VP's team because I was afraid to ask, or I was afraid of the rejection.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. So, but once I pushed through that and made the ask, it led to two of the most rewarding coaching opportunities that I've ever had. So I would just say start today. Get specific about what you want and rehearse your ask, and reframe the no as a not yet. So if they say no, then that's a not yet. Maybe that's not yet for them, or maybe they're not the right person to work with. Even the act of asking builds confidence, and you'll be amazed at what opens up when you find the courage to ask.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, next question. Um, you emphasize the role of community and personal growth. Can you share how masterminds and accountability partners have accelerated your own journey?
Yeah, I would say community is a game changer. We learn better. God created us to be um, relational. We are relational, and we need to be in relationships to grow. If you look at any organizations that had tremendous growth, I will talk about maybe the church. If you look at the church, when the church originally started, um, it was they grew based on community. They built strong community, and that was how they grew. I find that a lot of leaders are trying to learn and grow on their own, but not in community. But once you get around community, you're going to have accountability. You're going to have um, you're going to have encouragement. You're going to have people that are going to spur you on. It's like I'll give you another example. Um, in America and Canada, we do barbecues through using charcoal. Now, charcoal is effective only if you have charcoal together. You got to have a bunch of it together. But if you take one of those charcoals out and you put it by itself, it will stop burning a lot quicker. But if you put it all together, it's going to burn for a longer period, stay hot for longer, and that's the same thing with community. So we need to have others around us if we really want to see transformational growth and development.
Yeah. Okay. My last question is for those who are watching what now who feel stuck but don't know where to begin, what will you say to them?
Yeah, I would say start small. Start small. Um, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take that next courageous step. Excuse me. Maybe it's just having a conversation or setting a boundary or joining a group or reading a book like Rise Above Routine. Whatever it is, take that next step. See, one of the challenges we have is we get 2 or 3 steps ahead and we say, "Oh, I can't do that," and we make it so overwhelming that we won't even do anything. So I would say just take a small step. The path won't always be clear, and fear may not always disappear, but action builds clarity. The more you take action, have an action that you take every day, you're going to get more and more clear about where you want to go. Okay. One step will lead to the next and to the next, and you're going to get, like I said, more and more clear. And as you rise above routine, you're going to discover that life that you were meant to live is waiting for you on the other side of comfort.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable taking those, those steps when you're afraid. And I talked about the emotions at the beginning. It's uncomfortable. But as you do it more and more, you're going to learn to embrace that uncomfortability because you're going to see that, oh, I can grow and change. It may not always turn out the way you want it to, but there's always growth in those moments. In those, when you take those steps, you're always going to learn something. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. I would like to ask Darren if there is some way people can can stay connected with you after this conversation. You can share so people can connected with you to
For
follow your
sure.
journey and to see what next you can
Yeah,
offer.
let me put my information in the chat. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, here it is. Give me 1 second here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I have. Uh, okay. Bear with me just for 1 second. Here we are.
Okay.
So let's see. Yeah, let's see. Here it is. You can you can get in contact with me. I'm going to give you my email address, my website, um, my Facebook. I'll give you all of this information. So I'll share this in the chat. Didn't come across too well there. Okay, let me see. I think you guys will see it. So, oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So bear with me. Here we are. So here's my information here. I've just posted it in the chat. So like I said, you can go to my website. You can email me. You can connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. So that's some of the ways you can get in contact with me.
Okay. So thank you.
And you're welcome. And we would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Because sometimes it's challenging to ask questions in an environment like this. But if you have questions, please do reach out to me.
Okay, sounds good. So
All right.
thank you so much for everyone who joined this amazing conversation. Diamond, you added so much value to the
Thank you.
audience today.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful for you, and I think we will continue to have collaboration with the like this. We have our annual leadership conference. Maybe you will join us as a special guest, as a
Okay.
guest speaker. So
Mhm.
this will be an amazing event. So thank you so much, everyone. I will keep you posted about what next. And then that's all we have for today. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. So
All
you
right.
can connect with Darren on social media, connect with BC Leadership on LinkedIn, Facebook, and we will so glad to have you join this community. Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.